Good day, everyone, and welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope, and a new Nigeria is certainly possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. Today, we've come again to have a discussion on the things that is happening in Nigeria. As you know, the Tinubu's new 150 billion Airbus 330 presidential jet landed in Abuja today, and Tinubu is moving, departing Abuja to France indefinitely with the said presidential jet. And of course, coming at this very hour, Tinubu approved NNPC's request to use dividends to pay subsidy as well. Subsidy gobs 6.8 trillion naira. That is, Tinubu has continued to pay for this very particular subsidy, while he said that subsidy is gone. Anyway, we'll also bring you some of the highlights of Elisha Bo's interview, where he said that he got 14 million naira monthly, and while a governor as of today goes home with over 701 billion on security votes. And of course, so many other things that we are going to discuss at this very hour. And I have our own 1 million Nigerians joining us on Zoom. My name is Chidi Kanu at this very hour. Let's start with what is going on. And let's get to our first audience for today, who is Mr. Kini, who unavoidably was absent last Friday. So we are going to start with Mr. Bassi. Mr. Bassi, let me start bringing to your attention the issue of this $150 million aircraft that Tinubu has. $150 million dollars aircraft. Now, I want you to understand the reports that are coming in that during a plenary, we have discussed this before. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio has stated that the request for purchasing the aircraft has not been presented to the National Assembly, and he assured that once it is, that the Senate will consider and approve it, but emphasizing the fact that neither has there been any request or any of such before the National Assembly. And of course, at that same time, he mentioned the fact that the blackmail against the National Assembly, referring the past incidents where defective plane led to deaths of foreign leaders and all of that, if you recall. And also said so many things that had to suggest that the Senate is very responsible to deal with such issues when they are before them, but that they were never before them. In other words, they don't have any request to buy any aircraft for Chief Tinubu. And but let me quote him. He said categorically that there is nothing like that before us now at the National Assembly. So, Mr. Bassi, what now prompted this issue of the new aircraft landing in Nigeria and taking Tinubu off? And Nigeria seems to have accepted the fact that the new presidential jet is here without actually asking how was this very aircraft, the purchasing of this aircraft, how was it appropriated? Who approved? And all of that. What are your take on this, please?
Good evening, Mr. Kanu. Good evening, Zoom panelists. Good day, Obidient, worldwide, wherever we are listening from. I think this government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is taking Nigerians for granted. They keep coming, misleading Nigerians, lying to Nigerians, and the whole aircraft issue and the Ogun State issue was just a distraction, so that Nigerians will not pay attention to the fact that they had bought this aircraft even before the approval. Yes, like you rightly said, I remember then, Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President, came out and said that there was no such request from the presidency. And he was even trying to make reference to the fact that, do we want president to die just like, I think then it was in one of these African countries that had an mishap. Malawian vice president. Thank you. He did came out and said, do we want him to die? That's, however, as at that date, he has not received any request for the purchase of a new presidential jet. But as at when that will come, and of course they will look at it and they will give due approval. From that period till now, it is very, very certain that we have not seen any request from the national, from the presidency to the National Assembly requesting for the purchase of this aircraft. But you also know that between that period, there were pictures coming out showing where that aircraft was, giving details of that aircraft, how it was purchased, from who owned it before. And then they kept lying to Nigerians that nothing of such had happened until this issue came up between the Ogun State government and the sorry, I just missed that other person now. Well, however, but let's look at
the Ogun State people and the Chinese counterparts.
And you think it's a distraction? Yes. This is a distraction because they wanted to use that to bring in this aircraft. And this is what they have achieved. And Nigerians are not paying attention to the real issue, but rather they are looking at the Ogun State issue. This is what has happened. And I can tell you that for those people to release that aircraft, they had paid money. They had negotiated for that aircraft to be released because the president wants to arrive France in a new presidential jet, showing off how wealthy Nigeria is. Yet, Nigerian citizens are suffering. They are suffering in hunger. They are suffering in starvation. But he's going about living his luxury life at the detriment of Nigerian populace. Look at what happened last week when he was traveling to Equatorial Guinea. He was going with a new presidential car. That car is worth about $1 billion naira.
A Cadillac.
You want Nigerians to be patient. You want Nigerians to tie their belt. And yet you are living an extravagant lifestyle, not leading by example. This is ridiculous. And I don't know why we still have the National Assembly. Those people I said they are a disappointment. They have failed Nigerians. They are not representing Nigerians. Because if we truly have a true representation of Nigerian people, that incident will not happen. For them to violate the law, the rule, by spending without being budgeted, I mean, that alone is it's a misconduct. It's a misconduct. That's an impeachable offense. But here we are. We don't have a National Assembly who can stand up to the executive. We have those who are just playing along with them, and so Nigerians are taking for granted. They feel no Nigerian can challenge them anymore. So this is where we are, and that is why we need to reject this system. That is why we need to change this system. This system is over-corrupt, and we cannot sustain this corruption anymore. That's why every Nigerian at this point in time, well-meaning Nigerian, we must speak up, we must rise up to the occasion, and we must begin to sensitize our constituencies. Let them know that we have been taken for a ride, and then we cannot, we can't absorb this anymore, because Nigerians are dying daily. Every day Nigerians are dying because of hunger.
Mr. Bassi, before you go, just take 1 minute to, answer to this very thing I want to bring to your attention.
Just 1 minute for you to, deal with it because of time. Despite many denials by the Nigerian government of non-payment of fuel subsidy, Chief Bola Tinubu has given approval to the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, the NNPC, as we know, to use the 2023 final dividends owed to the Federation to cover the cost of petrol subsidy. Now, my question is, we all know that Tinubu is still paying subsidies and seem to disorganize Nigeria in the name of subsidy removal. What is your take on this? Just use 1 minute to deal with this, please.
Straightforward answer, that is corruption at the highest level. Pure corruption. That money doesn't exist. Nigerian NNPCCL doesn't have that money. They are just trying to gaslight Nigerians so that it looks as if, okay, there was an approval. There was no, that's an audio approval. That money does not exist. It has been expended. NNPC does not have a dime. They are just signing paper for you to know that, okay, this thing had to be, the president had given approval. So that's why we can spend this money. Come to think of it, if we are paying subsidy, how come Nigerians are still buying fuel at the exorbitant rates? So where is the subsidy being, who is collecting the subsidy? When we were paying subsidy, previous government, petrol was at 165, 165, 170 at most. So how come we are still paying subsidy and we are buying petrol at, today I bought fuel at about 820 naira per liter. There are places that are buying 1,200, depending on which location you are in Nigeria. So if we are paying subsidy, why are we buying fuel at such exorbitant rates? My brother, everything about this thing is scam. So let us know that Nigerians have entered one chance, and this is where we are. And we must find a way and rescue ourselves out of this mess. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Let's quickly, due to time, jump to Mr.
Lord K. Lord K, trending on this very report of the departure of Chief Bola Tinubu with the new presidential jet, I want you to comment on that. But I want you basically to look at, there's a report coming from different dailies in Nigeria, which base their forecasts really on NNPC that obtained that indicated that the total petrol subsidy expenses from August of last year, 2023, to December of this year will amount to 6.884 trillion, leaving NNPC unable to remit about over 3 trillion in taxes and royalties to the Federation account. And it seems that Chief Bola Tinubu has approved them not to remit anything, to use that to defray subsidy. Like I said, everybody in Nigeria agrees that the regime of that very subsidy has always been there. So the removal of the subsidy, just like Mr. Bassi said, is audio. But why are Nigerians still paying over 900 naira for litre of fuel in the name of subsidy removal, when subsidy in fact has not been removed?
Nigerians, good evening, Obidient around the world, and Zoom and the studio panelists. Thank you for this time, one more time again. And I mean, we all know that the subsidy we are talking about has been confiscated. They have told us that, yes, the subsidy is gone, I mean, at the beginning, whereas it was still in place. They came back about 4 months ago and said, oh, it's partial, but now it's confirmed that they have now given NNPCL the authority to go ahead with it. But we all know that's audio. That's all audio. Because just like as my friend, Mr. Kinney, actually said before, if the subsidy was gone, we understand that, yes, okay, the price will go up to maybe 500, 600. But now they are implementing the subsidy again now at this space in time. But then the price is still going up to that 900, like you just said. So what's the logic behind it? So that means that money that NNPCL, that Tinubu has actually approved, has actually gone into a different project. It has gone somewhere else that NNPCL cannot touch. So that is why Nigerians are still paying this amount of money we're paying at the pumps. There's nothing that can be done about it. The only thing that we can do is a change of government. A change of government. Because the government itself is fraud. The people working in this parastatus, they're all fraud. So how can we work around this? There's no way around it. The only thing that can happen is to get rid of them. Now, Tinubu has now gone out indefinitely. He has gone to France indefinitely now. Leaving Nigerians to languish and die. And that's not his business. The 3 private jets that we're talking about here right now, or the 2 private jets we're talking about, this is something that Nigerians hesitated about seriously. Even the Senate said they never approved it. But Akpabio, that man Akpabio, he's the snake inside this whole thing. Because he said it to Nigerians then that we don't want our president to go and die in a crash. So whenever he brings it, he's going to approve it. So, what else do you want him to say again? He has told you he's going to approve it. You like it or you don't like it, he's going to approve it. So it has been paid for. So who knows if the subsidy money is what they have converted into this payment for the jets? Who knows? That is why we're still paying this much on petrol and diesel in the pumps. Who knows? So those jets has been paid for. That is why the Chinese has actually got this right to go and seize this jet, or they put some claims towards these jets. If they were not Nigerians, if the jet was not for Nigeria, how can the Chinese actually have authority to say they are seizing it, or they confiscate 2 of it and release 1 for the travel? How can that happen? So they have actually purchased it. They have done this under the table without the press or anybody knowing, just like as Akpabio said. So what are we going to do about it? This is a country that we are fighting, where people are dying, no food to eat, nothing. But somebody is busy buying a Cadillac just to drive him from his house to the airport, worth over almost 1 trillion. And then buying private jets to fly himself around wherever he wants to go. Gentlemen and ladies, I really don't know what is wrong with us in Nigeria. I don't know what's wrong with us in Nigeria, that we are looking and waiting and praying that things will change. Nothing is going to change if we don't act. Nothing is going to change if we don't act fast. It will only get worse. It will only get worse. If there's any word like worster, it will get worse, if we can say something like that. The man doesn't care about Nigerians.
Thank you. Care. Well, every Nigerian should know that, Lord K. Thank you very much for that. Let me quickly jump to Tony, who is joining us from Coal City. Tony, coming to you quickly, I want to bring this to your attention. In a recent interview, Elisha Shabo, if you know him, is a former federal lawmaker who spoke about the financial pressures he faced while serving as a senator. Abo said that despite receiving 14 million naira monthly as a senator, a significant portion of that money was spent on helping others. He said he used his money to pay for scholarships and all of that. Abo also mentioned that governors, which I want you to look at now, received a security vote of over 700 million naira each month. And not just that, some of them are getting as much as 1 billion naira on each month. Why do we cry of insecurity in states when the state governors can have access every month of a security vote of up to 1 billion? Why would we be talking about people in different states who are talking about hunger and starvation while their governors have up to 1 billion naira of security vote to protect the farms of the people who are farming, to protect people in different areas of in the security architecture of each state? What is your take on this? 1 billion going to each governor for a month.
Yeah, thank you, Kanu, and everyone listening from wherever you are. The fact, as we all know, is that the system has failed us. The system of governance which we practice has failed Nigerians. I was amazed what that ex-senator said. He was being clear and straightforward that a lot of senators, most senators, just get the money and then cater for themselves. But he, as he said, was using his allocation to serve the people, even outside of his senatorial zone. So that's a remarkable thing to note. Will be where we governors. We all know, everybody is aware of that, right from 1999. That were capable of doing anything. One ex-head of state recently said that a lot of the senators are supposed to be in jail. And he knows his facts. He knows something you and I don't know. And still, nobody is capable of doing something. It's like they've blindfolded every Nigerian to not see what is going on, even though we know what is going on. The thing is that if we don't rise up and demand that we be listened to, these people will take us for granted indefinitely. And there's no getting better. Look at it. Look at
Tony. Yeah, but Tony, a governor gets 1 billion naira in a month to manage the security of his state. Why would we still be having banditry in his state? Why? What does he use the money for in terms of security on his state? Because I see from each state that the bandits continue to sack people from their different farms, and the governors keep referring to the federal government to come and help them. If they are receiving 1 billion, what are they using those money for?
The federal government, those people giving them that money, don't ask them what they're doing with the money. Why don't they help them in terms of providing equipment for the security agencies? Nobody is on their backs. So they do whatever they want to do with the money, buy things for their girlfriends. It used to be that one governor was notably seen as somebody who buys vehicles for girls just anyhow, without questions. Nobody questions that activity. So they are using our resources to do their personal business. So nobody can question them. They are kind of semi-gods. And unless something is done,
even Wike himself that is drinking whiskey or drinking a wine that costs almost a million naira for a bottle, where is that money coming from?
Oh, and nobody has even questioned his source of wealth.
Exactly.
All these governors, nobody's questioning their source of wealth. Most of them came from almost nothing. And look at cars everywhere, houses all over the world, traveling, private jets. We have a long way to go as a country. And these people are not ashamed when they go outside and see how other countries, other leaders conduct the country's business. They're just doing what they're doing, thinking that nothing will happen to them. And nothing is happening to them. Nigerians are just dormant, excessively dormant.
Juju, they worry them.
It's incredible. In no account. And complain and pray for their leaders in the church. Leaders that are impoverishing you, you are praying for them. Is it to continue impoverishing you or what? Or to have them repent from their iniquities?
They're waiting on God.
Tony, okay, just in 1 minute, because of our time, we still have Rev Pete. Please, can you just say one or your opinion that within 1 minute, your thoughts on this very particular $150 million Airbus presidential jet that Tinubu is taking off? Recall the other day before he left that he came into Abuja airport to depart with an Escalade, one of the 2024 vehicles that Nigerians were marveled at. Now, they now seem tense that Nigerians may not be okay with this presidential, and it seems like they activated a ploy to make Nigerians look away from this very presidential jet. Now, we're no longer talking about whether the National Assembly approved the purchase of this very aircraft, but rather we are just talking about the Chinese firm seizure and all of that. If the Chinese firm really seized this very jet, would they have released it when he had vehicle that he went to, is it Equatorial Guinea with? He would have also gone to France with that same jet. Why sending a jet from France to come pick him up to go to that very place? Don't you think that this is a distraction for Nigerians not to think how come the president went ahead to buy this very particular jet without National Assembly telling Nigerians that it has been approved for?
My opinion is that they don't need any distraction. They do whatever they want to do. They don't care what you think, what you feel. They just go ahead and do whatever they want to do. That's it. No, there's no distraction. He wanted to go to France to show off that he has now a new jet that he can fly all over the world with. Despite the fact that the buffoons, I call them, mostly buffoons, in that chamber called the Senate, are not doing their job. They're just an appendix to the executive branch of government. That's all. Whatever the Tinubu wants, they give it to him. And they lie. They're thinking that we don't know, that we are not aware. Can you going to France on indefinite trip? Is it official trip or is it personal trip? How can a leader of a country go on an indefinite trip to another country without telling his people the reason he's going, how long he's going to stay? These people are just they take off for granted. They take Nigerians for granted. What can you do? If you say something, they come and arrest you and put you in a dark bedroom indefinitely. So that it's just dictatorship we are practicing.
Thank you so much.
The plan is to make Nigeria a one-party state APC control states, and that is what they are actually working on. That is what they are planning, and that is what they are working on right now.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Let me quickly get to Pete, who had been on standby since we started. Reverend Pete, why are Nigerians docile at this very time? It seems nobody is talking or getting up to, to challenge the purchase of this very presidential jet, and also nobody seems to be pushing why the issue of fuel scarcity is surfacing in Nigeria, and the fact that it is now open that subsidy has always been paid by the Chief Bola Tinubu's administration. Reverend Pete, what are your thoughts on this, please?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for viewers and listeners around the world. You see, in the first place, we must understand that this man, I have one word that I used to describe him. I said is very subtle. His subtlety has made it impossible for anybody to come up to speak against him. I hear people are talking about charm. It's not medicine. You see, it's a system whereby you plan out because you don't have anything to offer, and you know those that will be able to tell you face to face that you have nothing to offer. So what you do is that you first bring those who can stand against you. You bring them to yourself. And so it's just like a thief. You stole and you see me stealing. And you know that I have seen you that you have stolen. Then can you come up to me and tell me that I should not steal? It's not possible. The truth is that when this man started, you see what he did was first to bring all the governors to himself, and he told them how they are going to kill and divide. So the matter of security subversion that we are talking about, these are the governors' share. So you cannot ask him, you cannot say that, why can't Tinubu ask them what they are using it for? Is the Tinubu himself, okay, look at this Cardinal Escalante that he bought. Look at Jet. And this is the same period of 1 year when he's telling Nigeria to tighten up. So now the governors have seen him. They know that he's spending the Nigerian money. So how can he hold a ransom or the governors? Because everybody is taking his own share. And that is the agreement they have reached. Look at the National Assembly. When he come in, he called all of them together, even the non-party members, all of them. And so they enter into a covenant on how to share. And so when they are sharing, then no one will tell the other one, because already all of them has aware that, okay, we are going to, everybody is going to have part of the national cake. So that is why it is very difficult for him. Okay, we are talking about the oil, the NNPC. Why do you think this man is unable to remove the man that has been there, whether Kiera, they call him, or whatever name they are calling him? Why do you think?
Yeah, the GMD of NNPC.
Why do you think he's unable to remove him? Because these are people who knows that he himself is a part and parcel. There was some Dr. Garu. He said that even this subsidy, Tinubu is a part of the people that are receiving it.
Correct.
He said it in the national television. It wasn't secret. He said he also have a company which he registered, but not in his name. But that company, he awarded 15 trillion contract to that company. So then every one of them knows this. So how do you expect him to come up and begin to question another person? He that must question corruption must be corruption free. And that is exactly what is happening. Look at Dangote the other day. What does it take? How many days does it take for Tinubu to come out and say, give him a crude oil in Naira? Because the man vowed that he was going to speak more. He said there is a refinery in Malta which refine on petroleum that does not meet up the standard there in Malta. And he said he was going to speak more. And immediately, Tinubu come out to say that give him a crude oil, because he know that this man when he exploded, every one of them is going to run into trouble. So that is the problem of Nigeria. Those that were close, that would have been able to say no, they are part of the corruption. Okay, look at the Senate president who was being investigated by the EFCC. So how do you want to tell Tinubu that no, you are spending recklessly? Now this same man, you know what he said he was giving to him. So they are partner a crime. So the only people that will be able to stand up is the Nigerians, and that is why that is why they were afraid of this bad governance. That was why they were afraid, because they know that if it go beyond, then all of them, they are in trouble, and that is why they were running a tascata. So how can you say people said they were going to protest? That becomes a problem to the entire country, from the president down to the state governors. They were running from churches to mosque to leaders of traditionals to help them. Why do you think so? Instead of addressing the issue, because they know that they will be in trouble, and that is why I said that this just ended protest was the beginning of the storm that is being gathered in the air. And when that rain, everybody is going to soak on it, and many may not be able to escape it. And that is exactly what is going to happen to Nigeria when another strike comes up. So they are doing everything to cover those that will be able. They were asking, okay, who is the leader of the protest? We want to see those who are leading the protest, because they want to give them their own share and let them go and shut up. So many of the association who wanted to join before, what happened? We see all of them withdrawing and said we should give him a chance. Which chance are you going to give him? When are you going to give? How long?
Reverend Pete, you know something. I still blame people like you. I blame pastors like you that are saying pray for Nigeria, pray for Nigeria, pray for Nigeria, pray for Nigeria. They should let the place burn.
This is no matter of prayer. This is no matter of prayers. This is no matter of prayers. Jesus Christ said, if I must pray for you, first you must believe that my prayer is going to work, and that something is wrong with you. You cannot go to the hospital when you are not. When you agree that you are not sick. You can only go to the hospital when you agree that you are sick. That is when the doctor will find out what actually is wrong with you and give you prescription. So, and most of them, that's exactly what is happening. So it's not question of saying yes. It is true that it's not every pastor, because you see some of them they are part of this rubbish.
Corruption.
These criminals are they are part of these criminals. What is the business between the minister of God with the government? What are you doing in the government house? The government should come and meet you in your office if he has anything to tell you at all, because you are not meant to go to anybody. So, and when you have something to say, come out. Now there are television, there are news media everywhere. Speak to them. Whoever cares, let it come to you. So, and that is exactly what is wrong now. And we have to, we must dismantle this criminality before it exploded.
Yes, we need to dismantle criminality in Nigeria, and that very criminality, of course, is on the first day, Chief Bola Tinubu says subsidy is gone. And from that moment, Nigerians started to envisage hardship, and they start feeling the hardship. And of today, we are still hearing that Chief Bola Tinubu is again has approved even the NNPC to pay subsidies. So where are we headed to, and why are Nigerians buying fuel for 900 naira and 1,000 naira? Those are the questions. Don't be docile in your engagement wherever you are. Engage your reps. If you hear that a senator is earning 29 million naira per month and a governor, he takes home security votes of 1 billion naira, this is not just coming from us, but it's coming from people who are in the helms of our affair. Where do we why is insecurity in the states persisting when a governor have a security vote of over 1 billion naira? Why are people in different constituencies suffer when their senators goes home with over 29 million? Why can't they support the security in their different constituencies, in their different respective senatorial districts? We Nigerians are the fault. We should rise up and hold the people who are representing us in our National Assembly responsible. We should be holding the state governors responsible for the insecurity in different states. And of course, we'll be talking more about this, but the time has come for us to pack our load out of the studio. And I want to thank all the people who have joined me today on the show. Lord K, thank you so much. Mr. Tony and Mr. Bassi, and of course Rev Pete. Thank you all for joining and letting your voice and your opinion be heard by Nigerians who know that the state has been captured, but it's time for us to get it back. Whatever your comment for Nigerians to wake up, go to the comment section, tell us what you feel. Should we assemble all our people from the local areas? Let's get our electoral reform going on. True, we can do this. We can actually push our representative and make them to go back into the 2022 Electoral Act and make amendments in this, and we get ready to kick the people who are criminalizing Nigeria out of the way. Thank you so much for watching. Until tomorrow when we come your way again. Bye for now.